Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Fahey, and this video is a follow-on from my last video about using Zen in our paintings. And if you haven't seen that one first, then I would suggest go having a look at it, because then this one will make sense. So we got to here last time, and I've been sort of thinking about what I can do with it and keep in the Zen mode. So I've got a few interesting feelings about where I want to take it to. Just as a little recap, I've got my book, and I've actually been doing quite a lot more over the week. And you can see here, I've got some of the ones that we did. And, you know, they're interesting and lovely prompts for paintings to start off, but also, you know, they can be on their own. I love this. I think this is very dynamic, and you know, they're very quick, and you could do a whole lovely little series of just being in the moment and getting that energy of that feeling that comes directly from your heart, and that's the most important thing. Here's another one. And so you can see they're all quite different. I love this. I think this one has worked really well. I hope you can see that one okay. I'll try and zoom in on that. It looks like somebody's dancing, or it's like a kickboxer or something. But the energy in that is great. This is another one. You know, they're all very kind of simple, and these were two that I was just experimenting with different things, adding some water. Let's see if I can show you that a bit closer. Here you go. I'm splattering and adding water and fiddling around with the brush, doing some interesting things. And then this one looked like kind of flying birds. And you know, it's so enjoyable to do these kind of experiments because it loosens you up. It connects you to your real kind of heart and soul. And you know, that's what makes art so appealing, because you know, other people can pick up that energy that you're showing. So now I'm going to work on this. And what we left off with was me to do some colour. So I've got a palette ready. I'm going to use a lot of different blues, some greens, turquoises, and to see where it goes. So I'm going to do a first layer. Now, just as a tip, because I've done this on paper, it's cartridge paper, you know, it can tend to go a bit wobbly. A really good tip is to paint the back of the paper with gesso. It helps keep the paper smooth. So I've actually gessoed the back of this, so I've got a smoother surface. So I'm just going to get prepared, get the paints ready, and we'll start. So let's get going. Okay, so I've got an array of brushes and sponges and scrapers, some small flat brushes here, and a lovely other one here. And then I've got my silicone brushes. I love these. You can get these off Amazon, and I love using those. I have as many tools as I can out, so if the inspiration takes me, then I've got them ready. So, you know, be prepared to have your things out so you're ready. Okay, and then I'll just lift this up so you can see. I've got an array of colours. You can see them all there. Different kind of blues, lemon yellow, cadmium orange, a lovely green, yellow ochre, black and white. So I think you can see them there. And I've got the camera at a different angle today. I'm trying to work out the best way, so I'm not standing in front of the canvas so you can't see anything. And as I mentioned to you last time, you know, I moved house, so I've got a new studio. So I'm just kind of figuring out the best way to film the video so you can see the most. So bear with me, but I think this way round is going to work fine. Okay. So when I'm kind of looking at this, I'm sort of seeing some interesting, obviously, shapes, but I've got the feeling of a face in here, which is fairly intriguing. So I'm going to kind of go with that, I feel. And I've spent time, looking at it, meditating on it, and I kind of like that feeling. So let's see what's going to happen. It's so interesting when you do this kind of thing because you don't know what's going to happen. Right, so where am I going to start? Let's have a look at brushes. This little brush, maybe. Actually, I might go with the smaller one to just start with. Okay. So let's see. I'm using some blues here. Now, I might go over quite a lot of it. Let's see. But I want to keep the energy there because, that was the whole point with the feeling of getting in the moment. So let's see if I just kind of go for it and discover what's going to happen. And, using I'm just kind of playing with the colour, seeing what's what. I don't have to stay within the lines. I can just, go with the flow with it. I love doing this kind of thing because, you're not restricted. There are some areas that I want to, really want to keep, and there's some areas where I don't. So I'm just going to have a little play around, see what happens. And I might not finish it today. It might just be, a first layer because it takes time, It could take me a whole day, it could take me a whole week. Who knows? I don't want to kind of rush just for the sake of it. But, just to show you how you can get started with something, like this yourself, if you've, done some of your, you've got some of your lovely beginnings with all that fabulous energy in it, where will it take you next? And I think that's the point. So that's how I'm feeling. Where will it take me next? And how will it evolve? Without thinking, I don't want to be thinking. I want to be going with the flow, stay in that flow state and see what happens. And, got a nice lot of lovely colours to work with. So I think that's if you planned your palette, planning the palette is kind of key because you've got a direction with the colour. So, that's kind of like an interesting beginning. And some of what's underneath will come through, so that's fine. Let's move into a bit of the green. And any of the marks that I've got underneath, I can always paint back in. And, it's nice to have the transparency. It's nice to have something that's opaque. So we can cover some up and leave some there. So it's kind of interesting how that works. So I'm just kind of going to dash through this. I'll speed up the video a little bit because otherwise we'll be here till next week. So, you can just sort of see how it will slowly unfold into something interesting, I hope. That's the intention. It would be great to hear any of your comments if you've tried this since the last video that I did. How you felt. Did you get that kind of, really great buzz and energy flow that you might not have experienced before? That would be really interesting to know. If you wanted to pop it in the comments, I'd love to hear. Because this is, such a fascinating way of working. We want to kind of get to the feeling where we're not just wanting to make nice paintings. We want to make exciting paintings. We want to be bold and courageous. And if we have that in mind, rather than, trying to create a masterpiece, as it were, then you free yourself up massively. I know it can be quite challenging. I find it challenging myself to really just let yourself experiment and see what can happen without interfering with it. It's a challenge, but through practice and having that mindset of allowing and letting go, you know what, you'll really surprise yourself, because it really is true. It really kind of gives you the opportunity to explore something. And as I'm painting this, I'm sort of thinking to myself, where has this come from? I've created it and it's come from somewhere. And it always fascinates me, what reflection I get back from what comes from my painting. Where does it come from? And I find this absolutely magical, really, because obviously this has got, it's giving me something. It's giving me a reflection back from me. So is this how I'm feeling somewhere inside me? And yeah, it does surprise me. But, with this creative and intuitive painting, you get to learn so much about yourself. And I'm going to just offer you something just quickly while you're watching this that might be exciting for you. I'm super excited to share this special announcement with you, as I'm holding a creative art and yoga retreat with my friend Sari Shamani in May and in September. And it's at the beautiful Cortico of the Little Alhambra in southern Spain, surrounded by mountains and the sea and beautiful gardens. Take the opportunity to discover your creativity in art, learn the techniques to really express yourself in this wonderful environment, and do some soft, wonderful yoga and movement with Sari in the beautiful gardens. Really an inspiration and a magical place to reconnect to your mind, your body and your spirit. We can visit the beautiful village of Frigiliana. We're going to the beach and doing some wonderful exercises. We're visiting the Alhambra Palace in Granada. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to be able to paint in the gardens. We're going to use mixed media and acrylics, and you'll never have to have painted before. Beautiful, healthy food and a fantastic experience to reconnect, to relax and enjoy. Are you ready to experience this wonderful creative adventure? Then click the link below and we'll look forward to seeing you in Spain. So you can tell I'm a bit excited about the retreats coming up. But, to do this kind of painting in real time, when we could do it together, would be a fantastic experience. So I hope you don't mind me sharing it. And if you can, then wouldn't it be wonderful to meet up in person? So you can see that this is taking shape a bit now, and this face is emerging. Really fascinating how it's coming to be. And when I was looking back at some of my very old paintings that I did when I first started, and I was doing a lot of these faces, it's really interesting that you know, this is coming to me again after all this time. I mean, it's years, probably what, 30 years. And suddenly this has come back. And I'll be fascinated to see if this kind of theme continues with me, because it shows me so much about what might be going on inside. And, you know, some people might say that's a little bit scary, but at the same time, I think it's really fascinating to kind of explore what goes on in your subconscious mind when you do these paintings, what it's showing you and telling you. Uh, and you can't get that when you're kind of thinking too much. And I call this sort of like inner space painting, because you're going inside out. You're coming from the inside to find something completely unique to you. You know, there's nobody else that can do anything similar to this than you. You will do your own painting. And, you know, when people talk about finding their style, this is what they're really referring to, is accessing that part inside of you that is unique to you. And, you know, even if you would try to copy this, it would be quite difficult to do. And why would you? You know, you would, the thing that I would say would be to use the technique, use that Zen technique that I showed you, you know, last time in the last video, and then go from there to discover something really fascinating about yourself, and what colors that you lean towards. What colors do you love? My favorite color, as you might know if you've been watching my videos for a while, is blue. I love all the tones of blue. And, you know, for me then to use other colors that aren't familiar, I don't tend to use earth tones very often, but that might be something that you tend towards. And all of it is absolutely as it should be. It's fine, because we're all so different. And we can find our own way of painting if we listen to that inner voice, if we take some time to meditate and listen. You know, we have to kind of take into account our breathing and how we're feeling. So, you know, when we start our painting, to get into that zone and really block everything else out, that really helps to access this intuitive flow with painting. And you know, when I talk about meditating, you know, not necessarily sitting cross-legged with your, you know, your fingers and thumbs together. You know, it's just taking time, taking a breath and relaxing, getting in the here and now. Like when we started with the first paintings in the last video, just to literally go with the flow, and to, you know, keep that up. You know, I keep, you know, giving myself a space in the painting, just to try and keep that consciousness there of keeping letting go and keeping in the now. So back to the picture. I've gone to using the silicone brush. I'm wanting to give this picture some more energy now, and, you know, not pay so close attention to just filling in the spaces, but to give it some dynamism and get that energy flowing with it again. And I'm sure it will change again, I'm certain, but I want to keep the momentum of what was there to begin with. And it's coming through, I think, slowly, slowly but surely. I'm kind of going over the layers a little bit with some stronger color, so I'm getting some contrasts on color between lights and darks. Some of it's still opaque, but I'm doing some much bolder strokes with this silicone brush to bring that energy back in. And I feel that, you know, it's going to really take it forward in a new way, but maintaining its authenticity to the original drawing. It's a very strong face, isn't it? It's kind of sort of has got a warrior feel to it. I don't know what you think. Perhaps let me know. Tell me what comes across to you as you're, as you're watching, how it's kind of having an impression on you would be interesting to know. So yeah, I'm kind of getting stronger with the strokes as it's progressing, adding some of that cadmium yellow in now, bringing that, so again, some more contrast. At some point I would like to add some orange, but not quite yet, not quite there for that. And I will do some extra detail, I can feel that later on, but it's sort of taking on a whole, new strength to it. Interesting. So, yeah, it would be cool to think, to hear what you have to say, and if you experiment with this yourself, what happens, and what appears to you that surprises you. And that would be fantastic. So yeah, slowly but surely, it's taking on a character of its own, and these layers are adding some extra strength and color values and differences in shapes, and a really interesting person is emerging in this painting. It's funny, isn't it, when you think about all these incredible faces that are inside us that want to come out. I do have a lot of dreams with interesting faces coming to me. I don't know, maybe it's just me being a bit of a strange person. But obviously it's time to paint them out, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm taking some of the wet paint off and adding some textures just with this napkin, and nearly getting to the end of this session now. Well, it's gone quite scary looking, hasn't it? But so fascinating and interesting, and I really you could sort of see me picking up the momentum of the energy. So I'm going to leave it there for now, because I feel as if I've given it enough to start with, and it's kind of quite exciting, isn't it? So I'm going to be fascinated to see what's going to happen next. And yeah, well, there we go. It's all kind of to do with this intuitive and free feeling to get with your painting. And that's what I love to teach. And, I'm talking about the retreat. This is the energy that is going to sort of create so many wonderful things, and, give you a whole new dimension of your painting. Because, who cares? But you can feel the energy in it, however scary it might look at the moment. There's something there that's kind of, you feel. And that's the thing, when you look at paintings that you love, you want to really feel something. And the ones that stand out to you, you get that feeling. And to create that in your own work, so somebody looking at your work gets that feeling, that's what gives it an impact. And that's the exciting part. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this process. I'm going to carry on. Maybe I'll do part 3 with the next bit. But I feel as if I've done enough for now, and I don't want to interfere with it anymore till I've taken some time to look at it. So all the information that I talked about is in the description below, and if you enjoyed this video, then do like it and subscribe, because then you'll get to know when there's a next video out. So thanks for watching and enjoy your painting. Okay, bye for now.